I would like us to talk about mental health in our work environment. When you have colleagues in the office, these colleagues come in wanting to perform and give their best, but at times the situations that they face at home with their families, school, may not really enable them perform as we expect them to perform. And I have seen this mental health issue and depression really affect most of our colleagues at our workplace. And at times it's really hard for us to really understand them and maybe get them the help that they need. Most of our institutions do not give room for counseling or for that interaction and relationship whereby you at times you have like 1,000 staff, and it's really hard at times to really connect well with each and every staff. For example, you might have a staff who's been coming on time, performing their duties well, and then suddenly it stops. This staff comes late, asks for so many sick offs, and at times you do not understand. And it is not really, at times it is not our fault as the HR department or as the managers, but at times it's about that gap that you've created. And I have seen staff fall into depression, others fall into alcohol addiction, drug addiction, others the performance levels go down. And I think it is time for us as managers, as HR, to really calm down and understand our staff. It is not about writing that disciplinary letter. It's not about writing that suspension letter. It is not about, condemning this person, but first trying to understand what is going on. Right now, again, I repeat, with the COVID situation, so many people have lost some income. You have your sister who was working, now that sister is at home with you and you have to take care of that person. We have parents who have gone on early retirement because of situations, and now here you are being forced to take care of your parent. These are things that can lead to depression. At times it's marital, you're going through issues, and at times it's really hard to open up. Maybe you're going through domestic violence at home, you're going through abuse in the house, and you're supposed to wake up in the morning, have your smile. Maybe you're the customer care, you expect to present yourself in a certain way to your clients. And what where I sit as the HR, expect you to perform, and I may not know what you're going through. So I would really like for us as managers, as supervisors in our level, there are very different levels of supervision, to really create room for a relationship with the people we govern, with the team that we lead, so that we can try curb these issues early enough. There's, especially in government institutions, there are so many staff who fall into alcohol abuse, into drug abuse, staff who are really performing well, and it just stops. At times it's even about wanting that promotion, wanting that recognition. People fall into addiction for so many reasons. And I know it's really hard to reach each and every person in our organization, but if we can come up with policies, if we can really, within a small team, identify someone who can be like a point of contact for us. If there's an issue with his team, his or her team, they're able to tell us and we're able to act. So that it doesn't get to a point whereby this staff is rendered redundant, or he cannot perform, or he cannot really help that person. I don't know whether I'm really passing a message. We really need to bridge that gap and understand that we have issues. Even us in the even a HR can have issues. The manager can have an issue, and it is okay. It is understandable. Situations come and go. Challenges come and go. But if we are there for each other the way it's supposed to be, we'll help each other pass through it. Others lose their relatives and it really affects them. It really affects their mental health. They are unable to cope with it. I've seen a situation whereby a staff has lost the mother, another one lost the father, and it really affected them. They even lost weight because maybe coming into terms with it was not easy. And instead of us judging these people, how we should be able to embrace them, walk them through, even if it means give them some days off. If we cannot maybe get counseling within the organization, we can give them some days off as we communicate, as we talk to them, as we call them, as we check up on them to really understand, and maybe until they get better and they're able to come back and perform. Because if this person gets to a point of being fired, you can imagine this is a person that has a wife or a husband, has children. That one person's failure, or not even failure, well, that one person's inability to really perform the way it's supposed to, because of mental health, is because of depression, will affect the whole family. And it's sad. Some are about to retire and they haven't done much in terms of savings, in terms of preparing for that retirement. That training that we give, that 1 week training that we give towards retirement, I don't think is much of help to them. We need to really start talking to them and engaging them early enough so that if they need to start a business, if they need to do something, if they need ideas on how to really prepare for the retirement early enough, it will be of help to them. Others are young mothers. They've just gotten pregnant, and some of them not in a marriage setup. And this person now has this kid that needs to be raised. They're not ready for it. And we just assume now that is your problem. If you go to maternity leave, that is it. At times, these people need guidance. And how we wish we'll get to a point whereby we don't see colleagues as working tools, but as human beings who can break at some point. Others even get to a point of violence. And instead of first sitting with them, understanding them, doing a first meeting to understand what led to that. I've never seen you fight before. What led you to do that? You are not drinking like you are. You're even drinking now, even at your workplace. What is going on? You've been going on off frequently. What is going on? Are you okay? Do you need help? before we get to a point of giving up, we've tried to talk to them, try to understand them. So that once we decide to write that SHOCOS letter, to write that disciplinary letter, we've already done our part. That's why there's human in human resource. There's a human part. And we've put, I think we've put so much paperwork and rules and regulations and following them to the point that we've forgotten the human in human resource. Yes, disciplinary procedures need to be followed. But you see, at times, these letters that we write for the personal file, some of them are never removed. Some condition never remove them, or we don't really have a distinct way of dealing with a disciplinary issue that has stayed in the file for a while. Some people even look at 1 year disciplinary letter, and some people even just having that letter in the file already for a new HR, for a new organization. Already there's that mentality, hey, this person, I really need to be careful because there's this letter in the file. So for me, I think putting that letter in the file should be the last course of action after you've tried to talk, to understand, to solve, to help, and stand to be corrected. Because I have seen those letters really prevent promotions, prevent people from getting jobs because they need recommendations, and some even want to see the file. And assuming this person is applying for a finance manager post, and there's a letter there that talks about some funds, he was not able to account for some funds. You see, so this new organization will have reservations. It's just normal for any human being. They might have some reservations towards really giving this person that opportunity, and yet maybe it wasn't his fault. Maybe because you see, we work with, if you're a manager, you have the cashier, you have the accountant, you have the finance officer, you have several people under you, and just because they report to you, at times you end up getting the blame because you expect to really be the one to follow up and all. So at times we really hurry up into making these things official without first solving them in a human capacity. I hope that we can engage more. I'm open to discussing it. I'm open to ideas on how to really help each other at our workplace. Thank you.